So my mother and grandmother were both dance teachers. My grandmother in Bombay and my mother in Washington, D.C., where I grew up, or in Maryland. So they introduced dance to me, and because everyone in my family learned it, my sister, my cousins, I was just surrounded by it growing up.
I remember when I was younger, I would put in the video for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and I would watch Dick Van Dyke doing like the old bamboo. And I had this little blue stick that I would like sit down and like jump over and like get on the couch and like do everything. So that's like my first memory of dance.
I guess the first person was my mother, because she was taking modern dance classes and she had danced in college and she actually choreographed. And when she was a girl, she studied ballet, modern, and flamenco.
My mom was the one who put me in Bharatanatyam, and then she was like, why don't you try jazz? And I was like, really? With the leotards? And she's like, just try it. You know? So I'd say number one, mom, and then a bunch of teachers who were excellent along the way.
Early influence was Merce Cunningham, who was one of the pioneers of American modern dance. And that was a very, very strong influence. In fact, he brought me to New York. I left college and began to study professionally under his wing. So he was one of the first very strong influences.
I think the biggest influence for dance for me have been all of my teachers and fellow peers. Just like seeing people working next to me, and it inspires me to work harder. And of course, all of my teachers giving me corrections and encouragement that I needed to get here.
I think the biggest influence for me has been my grandmother, Colin. She was in a generation where once she came of age, once she hit puberty, she was not encouraged to dance anymore. And when she was 38, she became a widow. And she was expected really to withdraw from life, stop wearing beautiful silk saris and jewelry. But instead, she started a dance school called the Geetanjali Dance Academy. The fact that she went against society's expectations and provided this wonderful resource to her community that always inspires me.
And a choreographer named Catherine Dunham. She was African American and she was an anthropologist and choreographer dancer. So what she did in her work, she researched dances of Haiti, Cuba, Jamaica, and then she combined them with contemporary and ballet dance. She created her own technique. So this woman, when she was in her 80s, she came and taught us in college, and she had a demonstrator, she was old, but seeing how she did all this work, I decided to study anthropology. I also realized, I can blend.
It's actually an interesting question because I do other art forms. I'm a visual artist as well, and I really love making film, and I play a lot of instruments. So choosing dance, I think I chose it because there's a very physical expression that comes along with it. That's really exhilarating, and there's an enjoyment in being able to perform. Plus, all of those other art forms can then help with dancing, like creating posters visually, like working with the music, and then also filming dance. It's all kind of involved in dance, which is why I chose that as the central one.
I loved visual arts too, and I loved writing too. But when I started to begin my journey as an artist, I was living in India, in Chennai, and I really needed to move. I was very sad at that time, and I thought movement would be a way to help me. And because Chennai is the city of Bharatanatyam, that's where I ended up. I just found a great teacher, and it was a wonderful environment to learn that dance because it's like in the air you breathe.
I had started actually at the age of 5, training on classical piano. My mother was a classical pianist, and there were 2 grand pianos in our living room, and so I was really attracted to the piano as an instrument, but also music. I just loved music, and I responded to music. really wasn't until much later in my, around age 18, when I went to the university. I thought I was going to be a sculptor, and I quickly found out I didn't want to be a sculptor. I wanted to sculpt bodies.
Later, I kind of gave up on dance. Didn't think I was very good, and so I kind of gave up on it. And then my mom encouraged me to try jazz, and I really loved it. But that's when I fell in love with dance, and I started to get more interested in Bharatanatyam after that. And then in college, modern dance. And what I came to feel like was why I pursued dance was these different styles were reflecting different sides of my identity. My Indian side, my American side, my intellectual side. I just chose dance because I love dance, but I also felt like it was this way for me to express ideas and identity.
I feel like in our lives, we get very distracted with cell phones, with computers, with just how fast everything moves. And because I dance, every time I get into a studio and start to move, I can connect with a deeper part of myself. I can slow down, and life is about my breath and my body again. So it provides a great deal of solace and calm, and it's getting in touch with a deeper and more spiritual side of life. But I do it as a job, so I get to do it all the time because that's what I do. So I think that's something I'm very grateful for.
Well, it's sort of more like, what does dance not provide you? It gives you physical practice. It gives you musical understanding. You have to understand some basics of music. If you're doing contemporary work or you're creating something, you're using your philosophy, you're thinking about philosophically or idea-wise or politically. Like, what am I trying to say with this? I have this platform. This country, so much is happening. Can I say something through this? Yeah, I think it's probably simply put, an understanding of my own body.
Like a very constant challenge. Like there's never reaching a point. The point always is higher, and once you think you've reached it, it's still further down, kind of like a hallway that never ends. And I think that's what's exciting about it, is that it's a constant journey.
Well, dance has become me, and I have become dance, so I'm inseparable at this point from dance.
Okay.
I